the next thing we can do is maybe add a little bass. So now when you want to add bass, I usually either use a MIDI keyboard and just add bass using the keys, or I connect the electric guitar. So I'll just do that. Okay. We'll add the electric later. Let's start with the MIDI. And you want to go to the tracks and add a software instrument track. This guy, and open this here. Bass, fingerstyle bass. I don't have these downloaded, so this is good enough. You hear that? So you just want to go one octave down. So yeah, is that good? Cool. Right, so what are we gonna do here? Let's add it from the second part of the first verse, because you wanna build a dynamic into a song. So let's do that. I'm gonna mute it from here. Please ignore little mistakes I'm making because I'm getting a lot of latency through this entire situation. So I'm just not listening to myself while I'm recording. So it's all you guys. Right. Also, I'm not a keyboard player, so please don't judge. All right. Was that good? I don't know. So when you're not sure, just go here, double click on the track, Command All, and you just want to quantize it. 1/16 is good enough, right? So let's hear that. That's in rhythm. It's not bad, right? Now, so after that, maybe you want to add chords on the keyboard. Maybe you don't. If you know how to, it's great, but I won't get into that too much. I'm just going to tell you the possibility of what you can do. Whoa, not that. Not that. Let's try. This looks interesting. What is this? Yeah, that's great. So you just go. Simple, right? Just gonna record that on top of here. Is that good? I literally cannot hear anything, so you guys are gonna let me quantize that. And that's good. Let's listen to that again. That's good. Maybe we'll just focus on this structure we're making for now. Actually, let's loop this up a little bit. Let's just, oh, not that much. There we go. This much looks good. This much looks good. Yeah. So there's the next thing in your song is going to be the percussion or the drums. Now you can either beatbox or you can play percussion on the guitar. You can just bang it. I do that, but I don't want to break my guitar tonight. So I'm just going to add a drummer for you guys. So Logic has this thing where it'll just add a drummer for you and you can tell it what style you want. So we got this guy. Kyle, wow, okay, pop rock should work, right? Now, this is a fun thing to play around with because I spend hours on this. It's super fun. Now you can make it sound whatever you like. You can make it sound, you can make it follow the bass line, but I think I'm just going to let it be. I'm going to make it loud and not that loud. Maybe this guy, I can make him simple and loud, maybe a little complex. Should sound good. And let's listen to that. We don't need that anymore. It's good, right? So maybe in this end part, I'll add more fill. So, you know, it'll fill up the song. Add some percussion. Sounds like a good drummer. All right, now we have these things in place. Okay, so the next thing you want is vocals, right? So if someone can whip up a quick 2-3 line verse, I'll just record that on top of this and make a random melody out of it. If you have something in mind. Where's the chat? There it is.
Does anyone have any lines which we can write a melody over? I know a few people attended the songwriting workshop with me a couple of weeks ago. Let's see what you have written by far. Just a couple of lines, just give him a verse or something. It's not that long of a loop. It's a very short loop.
They don't have to be complex. We're not Dream Theater. We can write a pop song. Don't worry.
Or actually, Mukul, just pick up like lyrics of any song, maybe even your existing song, and just put them over this melody.
Okay. You know what? Maybe I'll just pen something down real quick. Who's laughing at DT? No, man.
Don't laugh at DT, man.
Don't laugh at DT, man. Host has muted me.
I was muting myself. I accidentally muted you.
Okay. Okay, so are we okay with whatever's happened so far? We've got acoustic guitar, acoustic strum. So how about we just pan this to the right, pan this to the left, add a little more depth to it. You know, you can change the color, you can add guitar logo here. So that's however you like to look at your mix. Sometimes it gets boring, so you want to add a little color to it, right? Because you're going to be spending hours on it. Yeah, so you can choose between a bunch of drummers of all these genres. You can choose between a bunch of basses, which you'll have to download, which is cool. I usually prefer my acoustic guitars to be DI, and then I can just add post-processing on them. But if you want, you can add an amplifier because they have a good set of acoustic amplifiers here. But let's just keep it clean for now.
Mukul, I'm going to interrupt you again because
Yes.
before you record vocals and write lines, we only have a few minutes left. So I will ask some questions so that we can have a little more clarity on what you've done by far. So, and because a few people joined in between. So just to help them out, and a few people do not know at all what's happening here. So just trying to help them out. And everyone, if you can hear me, we have 7 minutes left into the meeting. If the meeting just gets disconnected, please use the same link to join back. But okay, so Mukul, I'm going to ask you a few questions. Can you help us with all, like, what's your process? You started with the guitar. Like, how do you start first? Do you add the drums first? Do you add the rhythm first? Like in this case, you added the rhythm first, the acoustic guitar. But in general, if you do it by yourself for your own song, or what is your recommendation? Do we add drums first? Do we add bass first? Do we start with the guitar overlay? What do you think is the ideal process?
So the ideal process for me is starting with the guitar because it's the instrument I am most comfortable with. But it really depends on how you're feeling the song. For example, I have some days when I just come here and I go new track and I open a drum kit and I just smash on it. So I just go to any random drum kit and I just go. You know, sometimes you're just feeling that. If you want to add that, you can add that. Sometimes you want to add the bass line first. Whatever you're feeling, right? It depends on you. Wherever you think your song is progressing, you take it that way. It doesn't matter what direction you're going into as long as you're moving forward, right? So I usually start with an acoustic guitar. I layer it up with an octave of the acoustic guitar, and I pan them both left and right so that it adds depth to my recording. And there's usually a plucking layer, so there's something consistent going on in the middle.
Right.
On
So
top, there's the
you
bass.
basically filling up the tree. So you're filling up with mids, highs, and lows using different instruments, and you're panning your guitars to achieve that.
Exactly, yeah. So you
But
want to cover all bases.
do you recommend doubling up the layers for only guitars or for other instruments as well?
So you don't need to double up the layers with the bass because it's the only prominent thing in that section. It doesn't need a double. The drums don't need a double because they're pretty much keeping the percussion. Your guitars, though, they have to fill the high ends as well as the mids. So
Right.
if you have two guitars, it just makes your recording a little more rich sounding. If you have one, it's completely fine. I mean, it really depends on what song you're trying to achieve from it. I'm a guitarist, so the last song I recorded had 6 layers of guitars on it, and they were
Right.
constantly on it, and they were doing different things. It just
Of
adds a
course.
little variety. So maybe one guitar is doing something, the other is doing the harmony for the same thing. For example, if I just play this, I'm playing an A minor chord here, and I'm doing F, right? The same thing I can either do right on the 12th fret and go, so it fills two different things. So you can just record them both together, or you can take a different placement of the A minor chord. So if you're here, you want to add this. You just combine different things and match
You're
harmonic elements.
basically using different positions of the chords, or you're using the chords from the same family to basically overlay on top of
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Basically, you just
Right.
overlay on different positions, and then you have a nice harmonic matching of the both, and it just makes your recording a little more, I want to
Priyansh
say
has a
rich
question
sounding.
here. Can we record the
Yeah,
guitars 4 times and pan two of them right and two of them left?
absolutely. Yeah. So it's basically, it really depends on you on how you visualize your song, right? So for example, if I'm playing something as simple as, I can play the same thing here. It's a harmony for that. And then I can play it here. That's an octave. So if you add these three things, the fourth thing, I mean, whatever, you want to add whatever you want, you can pan them all to the right, to the left, and then you can see how it sounds. Or you can keep two in the middle, one on the left, one on the right. It really depends on what sounds right to you. But of course, this is a demo version, so we're not exactly following any studio rules which you will follow, because this will be just a starting point for your song. You can obviously get to that level if you want from the very beginning, but what I do is I usually forget about all the rules. I just start recording. Even if it's not in rhythm, at least you're getting something out of it. It is always scope for correction later, because once you're recording on a DAW, you can always cut, you can always re-record, you can always modify it, you can always do whatever you want with it.
Exactly. It's just basically you're recording your idea. Like it happens a lot of times to me as well. Like I'll sing something or and I will completely forget about it. So this helps you to identify how and where you want your song to go. But like I know Mukul, you're doing it on the fly. Like everything, it wasn't pre-recorded. And I think everyone even got it while you were recording it that you're just doing making it, all the parts here in the moment.
Yeah,
So
I am,
how do
yes.
you approach those lines? Like because you're writing parts for drums, you've taken a
Yeah,
preset which already exists based on a specific style of music. But in
right.
terms of the strumming pattern you've picked, in terms of the bass line you've picked, how are you playing
Yeah,
along with that? I will want you to answer this question, but we only have a minute left. So I'm going to end the meeting.
okay.
Everyone, please just rejoin the same link and we should be good for another 40 minutes. I hope everyone heard that. Yes? Are we good? So just rejoin the same link and we will resume from where we are just leaving this